63% of US drivers don't trust auto repair shops, according to the American Automobile Association. And honestly, they might be right. I've spent years in the industry and I've seen it all. Overpriced services, unnecessary repairs, sneaky upsells, and straight up lies. So today, I'm exposing 13 of the most common tricks mechanics use to rip people off and how to spot them before it's too late. And make sure you stick around because at the end of the video, I'll share one simple rule that'll protect you from ever falling for a scam again. Let's dive in. Scam number 1, the mystery check engine light. That little orange light, the one that pops up on your dash out of nowhere, has probably cost drivers billions in fake urgent repairs. Mechanics know that most people panic the second it appears. They'll tell you it's serious, mention words like catalytic converter failure or oxygen sensor issue, and suddenly you're looking at a $1,000 repair bill before you've even had lunch. Here's the truth. According to the EPA, roughly 10% of check engine lights are triggered by something minor, like a loose gas cap or a small air leak. But because most drivers can't read those diagnostic codes, shops use that gap in knowledge to their advantage. You don't need to be an expert to protect yourself. For around $20, you can buy an OBD2 scanner online, plug it into the port under your steering wheel, and in seconds, it'll tell you exactly what's wrong. Then, just look up the code on Google. 9 times out of 10, it's something simple. So the next time that light pops up and the mechanic starts speaking in riddles, take a deep breath, check it yourself, and don't fall for the fear pitch. Scam number 2, inflated labor hours. Ever gotten a repair bill that claims 3 hours of labor for a job that took just 30 minutes? That's not a mistake. That's the scam. Many shops use what's called book time, a standardized estimate of how long a repair should take. But here's the twist. Even if the mechanic finishes the job faster, you still get billed for the full amount. Let's say you need your alternator replaced. The book time might say 2 hours, but for an experienced tech with the right tools, it takes barely 1. That extra hour, pure profit. And it adds up, not just in labor charges, but in the parts they pad into the estimate. To protect yourself, always check labor rates on reputable sites like RepairPal or Your Mechanic. These sites give average repair times and fair costs based on your specific car make and model. If your bill is way out of range, ask why. Also, always ask for a detailed labor breakdown. If they say trust us or give you vague numbers without explanation, that's your cue to walk away. And here's a key move. Get a written estimate before the work starts. In many states, if the final bill exceeds that estimate by more than 10% without your approval, you have the right to dispute the charges. Scam number 3, the phantom repair. This one is downright infuriating. You pay for a repair, but it never actually happens. It's called the phantom repair, and it's one of the most brazen scams in the game. Here's how it works. A shop tells you they replaced a part, maybe a fuel pump, a timing belt, or did a transmission flush, and you pay hundreds, sometimes even thousands. But when you take the car elsewhere for a second opinion, the truth comes out. The original part is still there, untouched. According to a Federal Trade Commission, over $2 billion a year is lost to auto repair fraud. And phantom repairs are a huge part of that. I once had a complaint from a customer who paid $600 for a timing belt replacement, only to find the same cracked belt still sitting under the hood weeks later. So how do you protect yourself? Always ask to see the old parts. If they truly replaced it, they should be able to hand you what they removed. No parts equals red flag. Ask for before and after photos of the repair. Any reputable shop should have no problem providing them. Also, read your invoice carefully. Look for shady phrases like adjusted components, system serviced, and tune-up package. That's vague by design. Demand specifics. What part was replaced, what work was done, and why. If they can't explain it, dispute the charge. And don't worry. Your credit card company or bank will often have your back in cases like this. Don't just trust a receipt, verify it. Because if the fix is invisible, it might never have happened at all. Scam number 4, the factory-only parts lie. Ever been told you have to use factory parts or risk ruining your car? That's one of the most profitable myths out there, and it's one shops love to push. They'll say things like aftermarket parts aren't safe, your warranty will be voided if you don't go OEM, and only factory parts will last. But here's the truth. Most aftermarket parts are made by the exact same manufacturers that supply automakers. They just don't have the car brand's logo slapped on the box. Take OEM, original equipment manufacturer parts. They're simply parts made to the exact specs of your vehicle. But that doesn't mean they're exclusive. A factory alternator might cost $200, while the same spec aftermarket version goes for $80. Same function, same fit. Massive price difference. A Napa study showed that 89% of aftermarket parts perform just as well as OEM, but at a 30 to 50% lower price. Now, some high-end brands like Mercedes or BMW might have fine print warranty clauses, but even then, as long as the replacement part meets manufacturer specs, you're protected. Here's what to do. Firstly, ask, is there a quality aftermarket option? Then check your warranty papers. Most will say genuine or equivalent. Don't get hypnotized by the logo. Your car doesn't care what brand the box came in. It cares how the part performs. In many cases, factory only is just code for we want a bigger markup. Scam number 5, the warranty is voided lie. This one's all about fear. The dealership tells you that if you don't get your oil changed there, or if you use aftermarket parts, your warranty is toast. Sound familiar? It's one of the oldest tricks in the book, and it's completely false. Here's the real story. The Magnuson-Moss Warranty Act, a federal law, protects you. It says a manufacturer can't void your warranty just because you use an independent shop or non-OEM parts. As long as the work is done properly and the parts meet factory specifications, your warranty stays intact. Let's say you get your oil changed at a local shop using the correct grade and quality of oil and filter. That's 100% legal, and they cannot deny a future warranty claim over it. Same goes for brakes, spark plugs, and batteries. Even major engine work, as long as it meets spec. Dealers love to imply you must come back to them for service. But what they really want is to lock you into overpriced maintenance packages and rake in the profits. Here's how to fight back. Keep receipts and maintenance records. They're your protection if anything is ever challenged. If a dealer denies a warranty claim unfairly, file a complaint with the FTC. They've gone after automakers for this exact scam. So next time someone tries to scare you with warranty threats, remember, it's your car, your money, and your rights. Scam number 6, upselling synthetic oil. You roll in for a quick oil change and suddenly the mechanic insists, you really need synthetic. It's better for your engine. Sounds convincing, right? But here's the part they conveniently leave out. 75% of cars on the road don't require synthetic oil. According to Consumer Reports, conventional oil works perfectly fine for most engines, unless you're driving in extreme heat, cold, or pushing high-performance limits. And here's the kicker. Synthetic oil can cost twice as much. That's why shops push it so hard. It's not about your engine. It's about profit margins. Now, to be fair, synthetic oil does have benefits. It flows better in cold temps, resists breakdown at high heat, and lasts longer. But unless your owner's manual specifically calls for it, you're not getting any extra protection, just a higher bill. So how do you know what your car actually needs? Check your oil cap. If it says 5W30 conventional, that's your answer. Look in the manual. If it doesn't require synthetic, don't get upsold. Mechanics may throw out phrases like, your engine's noisy without it, and it reduces friction and wear. But unless you're towing, racing, or in extreme climates, it's just a fancy upsell. Stick with what your manual recommends, not what boosts their bottom line. Because paying extra for something your car doesn't need, that's not an upgrade. It's a scam with a shiny label. Scam number 7, the urgent fluid flush. You're sitting in the waiting room when the mechanic walks in looking serious and say, your coolant's in bad shape. You need a flush immediately. Sounds urgent, right? Well, that's a scam. Fluid flushes are one of the easiest upsells in the book. Why? Because most drivers don't know when fluids are actually due, and shops take full advantage by recommending flushes way earlier than necessary, sometimes as early as 30,000 miles. But here's the truth. Most modern vehicle fluids, coolant, transmission, brake, are designed to last 50,000 to 100,000 miles, depending on your car and driving conditions. Your owner's manual is the only thing that should dictate when they're replaced, not a mechanic with a vial of dirty liquid. Here's how they get you. They show you a dark, murky sample and say, this came from your car. But in reality, that jar could have come from any car or been sitting there for weeks just to scare people. So how do you protect yourself? Ask for proof. A simple test strip or lab report can show if a flush is really needed. No proof? Walk away and always check your manual first. It tells you exactly when those services are due. Flushing your fluids too early won't help your car. It just helps their bottom line. Some shops charge $100 to $300 for a single flush. Multiply that by 3 or 4 systems and suddenly you're paying luxury prices for maintenance you didn't even need. So don't let the word sludge scare you. Trust your manual, not the mechanic's sales pitch. Scam number 8, the brake pad scare. Your brake pads are dangerously thin. You're risking your life. That line has pushed millions of drivers into rushed, overpriced repairs they didn't actually need. Because brakes equals safety, and fear sells fast. Here's the truth most shops won't tell you. Brake pads don't need to be replaced until they're worn down to about 3 millimeters of thickness. But many mechanics start pushing replacements at 5 millimeters or even higher, well before it's necessary. Why? Because brake jobs are expensive, $300 to $600 on average, and urgency helps them close the sale fast. But if your pads are above that critical point, you're still fine and might get thousands more miles out of them. Here's how to protect yourself. Ask to see the measurement. An honest shop will use a brake gauge or caliper tool to show you the exact number. If they refuse, that's a red flag. Many modern cars also have wear indicators that squeak when the pads are actually low. Your ears will warn you before your wallet has to. And here's a horror story I've heard too often. Someone goes in for an oil change. Mechanic says the brakes are shot, offers to do it now. Later, they find out the pads still had 4 millimeters left, plenty of life. But they paid $400 for an unnecessary replacement. Want peace of mind? Always get a second opinion if they say your brakes need urgent work. Even a $50 inspection at another shop can save you hundreds. Yes, you'll eventually need to replace them, but when you do, let it be because it's time, not because someone scared you into it. Scam number 9, the shock strut scam. Your shocks and struts are worn out. You're risking a major suspension failure, another safety scare, another massive upsell. But here's the thing, they can't see the inside of your shocks, and many shops use mileage alone to sell you on a replacement. They'll say something like, "You've hit 60,000 miles, it's time." But that's not how suspension works. Shocks and struts don't fail on a schedule. They wear down based on road conditions, driving habits, and load weight, like towing or frequent passengers. Many last 100,000 plus miles without issue. So unless you're actually feeling symptoms, like excessive bouncing, nosediving during stops, or uneven tire wear, you probably don't need them replaced. Here's a quick driveway test. Push down hard on each corner of your car. Let go. If it bounces more than twice, your shocks might be worn. If it settles quickly, you're fine. But shops love to throw out terms like suspension failure risk, poor ride quality, and worn bushings. Translation? They want to sell you a $1,000 plus job. And often, you won't notice a difference in your ride quality because there wasn't a problem to begin with. Your move? Get a second opinion before you commit to suspension work. Don't trust a diagnosis based on mileage alone. Because if your car rides smoothly, handles well, and your tires look even, chances are your shocks are still doing their job. Scam number 10, overcharging for simple fixes. This one stings because it preys on convenience and trust. You bring your car in for something routine, and suddenly you're charged $150 to replace a cabin air filter, a job that takes less than 5 minutes and 0 tools. Mechanics bank on one thing: you won't Google it. But here's what they're really doing: charging $50 for a $10 filter, tacking on $100 plus in labor, and doing it while your car is still warm from the drive. The same goes for wiper blades. A 2-minute swap, billed at $80. Light bulbs, often billed for an hour of labor when it's a 3-minute twist. Want to fight back? Search your car's make, part, and DIY on YouTube. There are tutorials for everything. Order the parts online at a fraction of the cost. Watch a 30-second video and do it yourself in the driveway. One of the easiest examples, cabin air filters. Open your glove box, squeeze the sides, slide the cover off, and pop in a new one. Done. Mechanics know most people won't bother, and that's how they make $150 in 5 minutes, off your laziness. So next time they recommend a quick fix, ask them how long it takes. Then look it up, because some things are worth paying for, but not when they take less time than brushing your teeth. Scam number 11, unnecessary air filter replacements. Take a look at this. Your air filter is filthy. They hold up a filter packed with dirt, leaves, maybe a dead bug or two. It looks disgusting. But is it even yours? Here's the play. Some shops keep a dirty filter on hand just to scare customers. They show it to you and say, "This is what's going into your engine." And just like that, you're paying $40 to $60 for a new one, without even checking. But most engine air filters are good for 15,000 to 30,000 miles. Unless you're driving through dust storms or dirt roads daily, yours is probably just fine. Here's how to shut this one down. Pop the hood yourself. Most air filters are easy to access. It's usually just a couple clips. Take it out and check it in daylight. A little dirt? Normal. If it's not completely clogged, it's still working. Pro tip: snap a photo of your filter before going in for service. If the one they show you doesn't match, you've caught them red-handed. Also, buy your own filters online. They're cheap, and replacing them takes less than 2 minutes. Bottom line, if the shop insists yours needs replacing, tell them, "Thanks, I'll handle it myself." Scam number 12, fake products. This one sounds like a joke, until it isn't. You've probably heard someone mention blinker fluid as a prank, but believe it or not, some shady shops actually try to sell fake or completely unnecessary products to people who don't know better. And it goes way beyond bad humor. Let's talk about a few real examples. Premium windshield washer fluid for $50 a gallon. They'll claim it has a special anti-fog or ice-resistant formula. In reality, it's the same blue stuff you can buy at any gas station for $3. Fuel injector cleaner, sold as a miracle fix for rough idling or poor mileage. But most modern fuels already contain all the detergents your car needs. Headlight restoration kits. They'll charge you $100 plus to restore cloudy headlights, with the exact same $10 kit you could buy at the auto parts store. AC recharge kits, when your system may just need a cheap O-ring or seal, not a full-blown recharge. And yes, there are still mechanics out there who will try to slip blinker fluid onto an itemized receipt. Whether they're joking or not, the message is clear. They think you won't check. Here's how to avoid these ridiculous charges. If a product sounds too vague, too magical, or too silly, trust your instincts. Look it up before you agree to anything. And never buy add-ons at the counter without understanding what they actually do. Because if they're trying to sell you something that doesn't exist, imagine what they're doing with the stuff that does. Scam number 13, the free inspection trap. Sounds like a deal, right? But when it comes to car repairs, free is often just the bait. Shops use this tactic to get your vehicle in the bay. Once it's up on the lift, they start finding problems, and suddenly that freebie turns into a $1,200 repair list. According to the American Automobile Association, 22% of free inspections lead to unnecessary fixes. Why? Because once your car is apart, you're more likely to say yes, especially when they use phrases like, "This belt is about to snap. Your suspension is completely shot. These hoses are swollen and dangerous." But here's what they don't tell you. Surface cracks on a serpentine belt, totally normal. Slight wear on suspension parts, often harmless and expected. And most urgent repairs, not emergencies at all. Here's how to beat the trap. Never approve repairs on the spot. Say, "Thanks, I'll think about it." Get a second opinion, especially if they say it's time sensitive. Ask for photos of the supposed damage or wear. If they hesitate, that's your answer. And don't fall for limited time offers or pressure tactics like, "We can give you a discount if you do it right now." That's not a deal. That's a hustle. Unless your car is actually unsafe to drive, you have time. So take it, because a free inspection shouldn't cost you hundreds. So that's just a taste of what most mechanics won't tell you. Before we wrap it out, here's bonus rule, which I mentioned in the beginning. The one that can save you thousands of dollars over the life of your car. It's this. Never approve a repair without a second opinion. This one rule cuts through every scam we've talked about, because shady shops hate accountability. Here's what to do anytime a mechanic says you need a part replaced or a system flushed. Ask for proof. That means photos of the issue, or better yet, the old part they removed. Check their claims, look up what the service actually involves and when it's typically needed. Compare it to your owner's manual. Take the estimate to another reputable shop and say, "Can you confirm if this work is truly necessary?" Most scammers crumble when they know you're fact-checking. Want even more insurance? Check reviews on sites like Yelp or RepairPal. Look for patterns of dishonest pricing or bait-and-switch tactics. If something feels off, walk away. You're not being paranoid. You're being smart, because the best defense isn't knowing everything about cars. It's knowing how to ask the right questions and refusing to be rushed. If you want to know your car better and save serious cash on service and repairs, subscribe to the channel now. You'll learn the tricks, the truths, and how to never get ripped off again.